My name's Irene, and I'm working to launch the brand Fem Entity.
Okay. I didn't know you hadn't launched it. I'm like looking at all your stuff, like you guys are like underway.
Yeah, well, I guess launch is a way of people thinking like, oh, your business has begun and gone. But we haven't started collecting any money yet or anything right now. We're so focused on building those relationships, getting connections with both the community and around Canada, as you can see.
Mhm.
Um, and just really getting the brand out there for people to understand the value that we're trying to bring before being like, hey, and you can also pay for this.
Right. That's and for those who are in the chat, like I'm probably gonna run in that direction because like that's one of my passions is just hearing people turn their passion, the thing they're really excited about, into actually making money with it, right? Like
Yeah,
that really is the goal. And then also to not lose your excitement for that thing once you're like you have a hustle on, you have like bricks and mortar to pay for, you have like you know what I mean?
exactly.
So yeah. So tell me about like what exactly it is that you guys do and what the next step is in terms of, you know, I guess scaling it out, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said earlier, Fementity, we really are trying to grasp women empowerment and self-enlightenment. And with
Mhm.
that, we understand that partnerships is such a big part in understanding yourself and understanding yourself in the world, because who you align yourself with really impacts on who you are. So our thought of that is, what if we gave someone the guidelines as to how to understand yourself, and then in correlation with that, also show you all these amazing small businesses that can enlighten or not enlighten, enhance your journey of self-discovery and self-enlightenment. And so with that, we created Fementity to really drive that force of unleash your feminine power, because as we're in this world right now that is go, 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 hustle, 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 like
Mhm.
get to the next success, do the next best thing. But a lot of the time, you don't hear people saying, take a break, take some time for yourself. And I'm
Yeah.
in the business industry, and my partner, Mukisa, she's in law. She's actually studying right now to take her bar exam, which is why she's
Oh,
not here with
yes.
me right now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Very cool.
killing it. But just like those two industries in itself, I'm also in tech. They're very masculine dominant energies. And by that, I mean, we're always with the perceptive of we need to be actionable, we need to be doing, we need to be focused. But that's not always the case for success.
Mhm.
It is a component, but it's not all you need to do. And so with
Right.
Fementity, our whole philosophy is by actually taking a break, you move forward.
That
I
was
hope that
my
really summarized it.
that was a great summary, and that's funny because like Monday morning, I opened with that to say like I had to meet someone in Orangeville, and I drove down and I cleared my schedule so I didn't take any clients on that Saturday morning, and took the long drive there, helped someone out, and drove home. And I was thinking like that was more productive than a full day of work in terms
Yeah,
of being my head clear and like you know what I'm saying like so learning to be
yeah.
still is something that I'm really learning. I've been saying it for a long time, but now actually trying to live that out all the more, right? Like,
Mhm. Well,
see, I
you
was,
also feel better at the end of it. You notice, wow, I actually have the capacity to do more than if I pushed myself to do
right.
more. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Isn't it funny how we all know that? Like, I'm sure no one's gonna be like, "That's brilliant," but we just don't apply it, right? Like,
Exactly. And also we hear the concepts like self-care, manifestation, and it's
mhm.
just like those quickly turn into like buzzy words, but
Yes.
at the root of it, what does that look like and what does that practice feel like to you? And those
Yes.
kind of things, like, I'm not telling you like go shout out the window like I'm an
Hmm.
amazing person. You can do that if that brings you happiness.
Hmm.
But really we're saying like take time to love yourself and care for yourself in what form works for you, because that actually is also very productive.
Absolutely. Okay, so my
Yeah.
question for you then is, what is your definition of self-care?
My definition of self-care is doing things that make you love yourself.
Okay.
Because, like, for instance, are you working out for yourself or are you working out for someone else? Where are your motives driven? What is your intention lie in?
Hmm.
And from that, are you really caring for yourself? Because if you thought of like, if you go to an old folks' home, how do you care for them? And then
Yes.
flip that, are you giving that same care and love and attention to yourself?
Right.
Mm.
Okay. That's good. That's really good. Um,
Are you doing it?
was that?
I said I could be like, are you doing that? Are you giving yourself care?
Yeah, I tried to. I took a weekend to try and do that. Because I feel like that's like I'm just definitely in that mode of unapologetically taking care of yourself. I'd say the
Yes.
terms like, and maybe this is that masculine energy, but the way I phrase it is like violently guard your private time.
Mm.
You know,
Well, that's
like
a good balance, and that's why we kind of try to introduce because a lot of people now, I think, have really honed in on that masculine energy, but
mhm,
it's just kind of like finding that balance where you can do both and have that little happiness,
mhm.
and it works out for your day to day.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So then what's your response to the person who says, well, my kids are like, I have three kids under five, and this, that, like that mother martyr syndrome when it comes to self-care. Like, and especially for you now, Irene, like at your age and all those different things, like you're moving to a space where there's going to be people who kind of despise your youth. Who are going to say like, well, what do you know yet? You really haven't been tested in this world yet to tell me about self-care. So
Yes.
how do you handle that? How do you navigate that?
I always say, what are you saying to yourself first?
Hmm.
So I might not have any experience in that kind of realm. But growing up, my mother is my role model. She is so much so the person I hope to be sometimes because everything that she does in her life is she steps forward with compassion first. And that just keeps me
Yes.
in awe all the time. So
Yes.
she
Great
always told me
example.
like when I was going through my really difficult mental health stuff, she always said, "What are you saying to yourself?"
Hmm.
And would you say that to someone else? Would you say that to your kid? And for her, she says it out loud sometimes, and then quickly stops herself and
Hmm.
rephrases that. And that's her way of keeping herself in check with her own self speak. And
Yes.
that's how she told me was just saying, "Are you saying things of loving and care to yourself in times of difficulty?" That's kind of how she goes about it. And she's like amazing. She's a mom.
I just put that in the chat there. What are you saying to yourself? That self-talk is so key, right? And
Mm,
there's times that we don't extend grace to ourselves,
exactly. Yeah.
right? Like we can be compassionate towards other people, but are we really compassionate towards ourselves?
Exactly. And we're so quick to just give that love to the people around us that we might not even know. And then all of a sudden, when we are in close quarters in a dark room, we're saying the worst things to ourselves. And we don't even deserve that. We didn't do anything wrong to ourselves. But
Right.
yet, subliminally, we were taught, oh, if you're not best, you're not good enough. And then it builds and builds in our
We
own
reinforce
mentality.
that. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I just gonna read Nadia's comment here. Roots Reach Pilates says, I think the younger generations have the potential to reject the culture of overworking and ignoring mental health needs. So youth isn't a determinant. A detriment? Yes. And uh, and then self-care revolution. Absolutely.
Yes. um, I will to for my brother, so my brother's 19 and he's watched me grow in every facet of my life. And he's definitely someone who I think is so much more mature in his just the relationships and how he takes care of himself mentally.
Okay.
Physically, he's still a 19-year-old boy. Like, we know how
You're not
that
gonna give
goes.
him too much credit. Like
No, like he's still a 19-year-old boy. I still
he's
walk
still
into
a
his bedroom and
sibling.
be like, you can clean up. Come on.
Right.
But mentally, he is really good at just keeping himself in check. And then
Okay.
my mother, and I think that's how we were just taught from who was doing it in front of us.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's good. Sir, surf your life. Hi. All right, so now we've built this network. We have this understanding of energy, generally speaking, with feminine and masculine energy, and finding that balance, the importance of self-care. So now you guys decide to launch this business.
Yes.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah. To make it really quick, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your vision with it? Like who did you want to connect with? Like I love asking in the kind of personal training Pilates space, who is your ideal
Nice.
client? Like who
Yeah.
like when you're making bags of money on this, a certain person walks in and you're like, I would totally work with you for free.
Yeah.
Who is that person?
So, well, actually, to join our directory, so if you're a small business or a consultant, it's free to join our directory.
Mhm.
So for me, the person that I want to help the most is the small business owners. Because
Very cool.
especially during COVID, we saw that to connect and collaborate and network, even just in a small way, was very difficult when you don't know who's around.
Yes.
And there was actually, I forget who, actually, Mukisa told me the Nova Scotia joint stocks registration was actually overflown with registers because everyone during COVID just got so creative. All these businesses popped up. But now I'm like,
Wow.
well, all these businesses popped up, but where are they? We
But where
don't
are
hear
they?
them. And I want to give them a platform to elevate their business to what the potential that they could have, and
Yes.
give them a broader audience that might appreciate their work more than just a flea market or a booth, that kind of thing. Give them the
Farmers
space
market type
to
deal.
really, yeah,
Yes.
give them something to really showcase this is something that I made for myself. And I think that's really cool.
Right. And then now, are you going to layer in your tech expertise and sorry, what's it, Makisa?
Mukisa? Yeah.
Mukisa and her like her law, like is she getting into like some level of like business law or somewhere where you can provide that level of technical expertise to people as well?
Well, one thing that I'm so grateful for with her being a lawyer is everything legal wise is she's taken care of. So
Yes.
I'm like, perfect. And with that, we're starting to offer our own consultings within it. So I'm really like when creating a website or anything like that, it's very quick and easy. Talking through social media or the process of starting a business, those are just things that come common knowledge to me that I will provide for the business.
Yes.
And for herself, she's going to provide more of like what's the process of getting a loan, the finances, what are the legal implications that come with starting a business,
Very
which
cool.
like nobody talks about because they're not cute and fun, but they're essential.
Yes, absolutely. I noticed that you called yourselves like lifestyle consultants, or that's like one of the things that you offer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's a
Because
slick name. I like that.
thank you. Um, well, really that started when we were registering our business and I'm like, oh my gosh, we gotta like
Actually
we can't just be
verbalize.
entity. Yeah, it's
Yes,
gotta be something.
right.
Um, and we were thinking, okay, so we do this with people, then we do that. Like we had so many facets that can complement a single thing. We were like, you know what? We're here to help your lifestyle and however works that works because it looks different for everyone, and we want to see how we can unleash your truest potential.
Isn't it fascinating? For those who are watching it, like I'm hearing you talk about this, Irene, and I'm like, that's what I do too. But for a
Yeah,
different crowd in a different,
yeah,
like it's the same thing in a different arena.
yes, yeah. And it's just finding how to take what we've seen throughout the years because really what happened is I read a lot and just taking that knowledge and turning it into how can we implement this in this day and age because like
Yes,
ancient techniques of mindfulness and meditation and self-care, they're not new, but how does it make sense now
yes,
for us, for
that's the
you, for
question.
different people, because people think self care and they're thinking like, oh, I'm sitting in a tub with my Chardonnay. But it's like, or is it taking the longer drive to just enjoy the scenery?
Mhm.
That's empowering your feminine energy right there.
Right. Yeah. Or just
Yeah.
breathing. Like, I mean, you got
Yeah.
Pilates people in the room, like breathing, that counts, right? Like,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
like there's so many things. So I like that, like the fact that we're spending time on this because it looks different for everybody.
Hmm.
And much like a personal training or a boot camp class or something, everyone has different ways of presenting it. So my clients and the people that resonate with what I do are my people. And then someone else in the chat,
Right.
they have their whole crowd and they may leave me for them and that's fine. I may leave them for me and that's fine, right? Because we all have our audience and our people, right? So
Yeah. Everyone connects with someone differently, and especially in those kind of close contact consultant ways, you want someone that's personalities can mesh best.
yes,
And with Fementity, if we could just be, I said that's in our life, if we could be a vessel for your success, then that's a success to us.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so now we've gathered, we've like a bounty hunter, we found all these people with registered businesses. We have their
Yep.
support. Where and how and when do you make money with this?
So we're going to be launching memberships.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's kind of the way that we really thought about this is like, let's make it a Netflix for yourself because
Nice. How slick
everything
is that?
is. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, like, everything is a subscription based now, but we want
Yes.
you to make an investment for yourself. And with the membership, you have the directory is free. So it's free to join, it's also free to see. But things
Yes.
such as like our courses, our guided meditations, our events, if you're not a member for the events and workshops, we will be expecting an entrance fee, kind of like when you go to like a bar or something.
Yeah.
But for members, those events will be free. Consulting will be easier you'll actually be able to see our consultants and their booking, whereas if you're only a free member, you just get to see the directory and see the list of consultants that we have. But that's mainly our big way that we're going to make money is through our memberships and see
Yes.
that, and hopefully see people wanting to invest in themselves.
Netflix for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm
We
loving
invest
the
in so
comments
many
here.
things.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And that's like, that's business 101. Like you say that, that's your elevator pitch right there. Someone be like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a comment here that says, you have such lovely energy. Your enthusiasm is so
Oh,
contagious.
thank you. I like you.
That's too funny. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. I love the fact that like it just like that. I'm sure everyone in the chat, like show of hands that made perfect sense to you. Netflix for yourself. Like that is like
Right?
the best way
Everyone
to
has
describe it.
Netflix, and everyone spends like, I don't know, I watched too much Seinfeld in the past month.
Right.
So I'm like, if someone had like a Netflix for you, like just courses you can watch in the background that's just telling you of yourself and how to better yourself, wouldn't that be like subconsciously you're benefiting yourself if it's just playing in the background? That's kind of my idea with it.
Yep. Love it. And you, I mean, we're having this Instagram conversation and we are what, 1,000 miles apart, 2,000 miles
Yeah.
apart, sort of thing. But you can be so successful with this just in Halifax, like just in Nova
Hmm.
Scotia, let alone like how wide and far do you want to go with this?
Oh goodness, for me, I'm one of those types of people that if I can think big, I will go as big as I can.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no when I'm there say go big or go home, I'm always going big. I never go home.
Fierce. Love
Yeah.
it.
So if I could, I would love Fementity to be a household name. Like I would love people to just grasp the idea of self-care and make it something that is part of their lifestyle and part of like, oh, did I check in with myself today or something happened? It's like, how did that make me feel? And just naturally be able to do that. Because even just talking with my friends, they're like, 2 hours later, it's like, I didn't like that interaction. That didn't make me feel good.
Yes.
Or this coworker said something to me and it made me feel demeaned or
Hmm.
not worth it. So having those conversations and be open in the workplace, at home, among social friends, it's mature conversations that
Yeah.
people wait too long to have.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, and I agree with everything you're saying there, and it makes me think that as you know, I use the word high self worth there. When you're in a
Yes.
place when you can kind of check in with yourself, and you're in this rhythm of doing these practices, I like to think that you get to a place where you almost become contagious with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like where you're at a spot where you don't have to be like, oh, that hurt my feelings. Let me go check in. Okay, I feel good again. Like you can be in this process where you are the one that makes people like that inspires others to level up their self-worth game.
Yeah. That you just naturally are. And my mother told me something when I was so young that said, if you put a smile on your face, people will give a smile back. And so
Mm.
I'm always smiling. I took that through my university career as well. because we did a lot of presentations. I was in business. And even if I didn't feel comfortable, I put a smile on my face. And that's something that mom would always tell me, like, it's that same kind of thing. If you
Yes.
put in a better perspective and a higher sight, people will be contagious with that and will want some of that or wonder where does she get that part in her that just is so uplifting.
Yes. Absolutely. That's a new kind of game face, not like a stern, let's fight game face.
Yeah,
It's like a
your
smile.
smile's your new game face.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Someone can just take that quote if they want. That's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, just remember that. So, and you were mentioning before, like, was it like you said, like an autoimmune reaction or something that hit you at some point?
Yeah, so when was it? It would be 20, yeah, it almost a year now. February, March. In March, I got my first COVID vaccine. And so ever since I was a child, I had eczema, but in my 20s, it kind of subsided naturally. And then I'm turning 25 now. So at 24, my upper body just completely burst into a reaction the day after my COVID vaccine. And I went to the ER, I went to my doctor, and they're like, because it's not an internal reaction, you're fine to get the second one. And people were like, well, maybe the second one's going to balance it out. That's not how science works. And I got the second one, and then boom, the rest of my body exploded.
Yeah.
And I went to the ER, I went to my doctor, and they're like, we don't understand what's happening with you. You need to go home. And I'm like, so I'm having a reaction with from the vaccine, and nobody can tell me why. So I just decided to stay home, lather myself in a lot of lotion, and read, because that's all I could do. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how all this knowledge really built up over last year, was because all I did was just read and be itchy. I laugh about it now because it's
Yeah.
like it's something that happened and I'm kind of over it now. They're trying to figure it out. But it's not something, they don't have an answer for me yet. And
Yeah.
we're 22. I know.
Right.
Crazy. But now I'm very safe with everything I use around myself is either clean or organic, that kind of thing, which has actually been quite a very positive and beneficial shift for myself.
Read and be itchy. So maybe your new friend Roots and Reach Pilates, you guys can connect and she could be on your directory. And then,
Definitely. Click on the Fementity link. I don't know where I'm pointing, but click on the Fementity link, and then there's a directory forum. You should also join the directory forum. That would be awesome, because what
absolutely.
also we're planning to do with the forum is for people anywhere. If it's like across Canada, you can search by location and see the small businesses in your area. So we're hoping
Right.
to get that kind of wide reach. That way anyone from like Manitoba, BC, they could just click their province. Even if possible, go down to the States. That would be great. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it safe to say that this isn't just like a women's empowerment thing?
No, well, we like to focus on women empowerment because it's always a sector of any industry that's just lacking, unfortunately. But we
Absolutely.
don't want to segregate away from other businesses that want to join the forum and other businesses that want to be a part of it, because we are for businesses, of course.
Yes. That's like me saying real men do Pilates. Like as a woman, like you're more than welcome. But when I was talking to someone the other day about that, like, well, why are you just targeting men, or why are you just trying to reach out to men? It's like, because I know everyone's gonna come, but men are not gonna see the value of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not
Yeah.
discriminating. I'm just trying to actually create space for them.
Yes. Yeah. And
And
I'm not
it's
discriminating against masculine energy. I'm just trying to say we need to utilize our feminine energy, and we need to give women a platform for their business as well.
yes,
Oh my
absolutely.
gosh, they're from the Yukon. That
Yeah,
is amazing.
there you go. Coast to coast and
Coast to
coast.
coast. That's awesome.
Nice. No, that's great. So I think when I was reading through your page initially, for some reason I thought you guys actually had a physical location already. I don't know
We,
why. Like,
I'm glad
yeah,
that looks like that. Thank you.
yeah. I know. Great marketing, by the way.
Thank
We
you.
have a tower overlooking the water of Halifax.
Oh,
Yes.
could you imagine? Dreams. If Halifax is listening, that's what we want.
Yes.
But we are building our website right now, actually through my connections at Dalhousie, I'm working with 21 students through Dalhousie to create our website and giving them the opportunity to learn code, get real life experience with a client, and actually put that on their CV to take to employers.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice. No, it's my yeah, on the sidebar, on a kind of personal level, my stepdaughter is going to Dalhousie next year. So
Oh, it's
she just got accepted. So we'll be in the Halifax area for sure.
So are you excited for her to leave the nest, so to speak?
Yeah, well, she's kind of left the nest sort of already. Like she's living in Florida right now
Oh,
with her dad. So
okay.
they've been there for the year. So now she's actually going from there to Halifax. So yeah, so congratulations, Molly, and be accepted. And I don't know if it's
That's
official
super
now, but
awesome.
it is. So that's what's up. So we were actually in Halifax over the summer and just
Mm,
loved it. We just rode around, went to Africville, and we just kind of just
nice.
just did some of those things that were really I just wanted to do, that we wanted to do. And then also we're kind of scouting out for her. So we're really happy that
Yeah.
that she got the offer and accepted. So
Oh, she's gonna have so. What did she got in for?
I believe it's either English lit or children's lit, something in English and literature. So somewhere in that field.
This is
So
a good dad. Good dad, right
yeah,
here.
I know,
He knows
right?
what he's doing.
Something like something. She's smart,
That's
so
okay.
she'll be fine. Yeah.
That's so cool. Actually, the English courses are really great. And if she actually can take some courses even at King's College, which is their complimentary college school, I took some history courses through there as well, because that's kind of like a side interest of mine. And
Hmm.
it's just the profs that they have are really great.
Very cool. So I'm looking forward to. I loved Halifax. Like
Yeah,
people, if you have not seen Halifax or Nova Scotia in general, it is so stunning. It's just a beautiful province, beautiful place. Like one of those best kept secrets in Canada, right? Like,
really. It's funny also because so I work in technology and I call across no North America, and when I say I'm in Halifax, they're like, "Oh, are you in the East Coast?" And I'm like, "Actually, I'm so East Coast. I'm in a whole different time zone. So you just gotta find us because we're like a little home away from, or like a little oasis, really."
yeah, true story. Yeah, yeah, nice. So yeah, so we have femininity, and it's more than just women. It's um loving yourself in a new light. That's actually the line I wanted to ask you about. Like loving yourself in a new light. You said that when we were on one of the posts I was reading.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so just like, expand on that. Like there's some lines in there that's like I love the lifestyle consulting and loving yourself in a new light and the Netflix for yourself. So like you have some one-liners in there that I'm like you totally
I
can
know
hang your
we're
whole
really.
business on it.
I'm really good at business. I graduated with business for a reason.
There you go.
But for loving yourself in the new light, so for instance, for me, when I went through my COVID reaction, it was really difficult for me because everyone was getting the vaccine, everyone around me, and like the amount of propaganda that was on my TV about this vaccine being like it's safe, it's all this. I thought it was really overwhelming and it's everywhere. And the thing that frustrated me was everyone's saying it's safe, everyone's saying it's good. And of course it's safe. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but in my body, it didn't react the way it's supposed to. And I felt as if my body just gave up on me
It betrayed
because
you. Yeah.
yeah, and I was, oh my goodness, the amount of pills that I took in 2021 was ridiculous at my age. Like I would open my pill case and I'm like I look like I'm an 86-year-old woman with the amount of pills that I'm putting in myself just to be in during the day, just to like be a human.
Yeah.
And I hated that. And I was like I was healthier. I remember being angry and saying I was healthier before this than after it, and everyone
Hmm.
else around me, it was get back to your lifestyle, get back to the way it was. And I was just sitting there like I can't get back to the way I am because now this is my new norm. And that's probably the way that a lot of people are seeing themselves after COVID is this new norm is really something that shook your whole lifestyle probably.
Right.
And you need to learn to still love yourself because whatever happens from this point on is not going to be the same as 2013 and it's
Yes.
definitely not going to be the same as 2019. So we need to somehow figure out how to move forward, but still with love for what the future could hold.
Yes. No, exactly. Yeah. No.
And you've probably worked with or like have heard I actually took steroids for a month and a half to
Mhm.
subside a lot of this stuff. And like, thank goodness for Western medicine. I'm still, it's a good thing. But with steroids, and I don't know if anyone here on the chat has taken it, but you gain weight significantly in a month and a half.
Yeah.
So that's also another thing that really, when as a woman and gaining weight and being itchy, all these different things were physical, but they were impacting my mental health, and I
Yes.
wasn't giving myself the love that I deserved.
Right. So
Yeah,
there is like your case study on how to talk, what your self-talk is, and all those different things to help
yeah.
people when they. I have I'm going to be a guest on Amanda Grab's site, and she has a business called Embracing Pain One Day at a Time.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like if you get a chance to watch it later, please do, and just connect with her after. I'll put the link in there so you can meet with her because she's doing. It's funny, like we're talking about how we do all these different parallel things. She's doing that kind of support and empowerment for people who have chronic pain and illness.
Oh, wow.
So it's powerful what she's doing because it's people that are going through these transitions. Like life is fine, and you can't figure out what's going on with you, and then find out that you have this permanent thing and you're gonna
Yeah.
have to live with the rest of your life, right? You're gonna live in
Mhm.
pain, deal with it. Well, how? I mean,
Figure it
and
out.
figure it out,
Yeah.
right? And then, so the conversation that will tie into that is the difference between pain and suffering, right? So I
Hmm.
can have pain, but I don't have to suffer. The suffering comes from my mindset and how miserable I am with it and how I'm letting it own my day. Or you can be someone like
Exactly.
Amanda who has a sense of encouragement for others and like, yeah, I'm going through this. This is how I've coped, and let me help you along. So you're locking arms with people so that they can find comfort.
Oh, I
And
love that.
yeah, oh, it's so good. I'm like,
I
yeah, I
love that.
love what she's doing. And the word embrace, like that's the thing. Like we spent so much time just unpacking the word, like we did with self-care. What does it mean to embrace something? Like
Yeah.
I'm holding my coffee cup, but I'm not really embracing it. Like I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean?
Being
Like
one with it
I'm
and
not
understanding
being,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
Oh,
So
you got
I'm
to drop Amanda's IG handle.
yes. Oh, this is going to be like typing on a chalk or writing on a chalkboard right now. So it is called at embracing underscore pain underscore one underscore.
Yep, you're doing great.
Thank you, day. I feel like I'm in a spelling bee at this is time. There you go. So yeah, I'll put it. I could have just put it in the chat afterwards on the replay, but there you go.
Awesome.
Yes, there's Carrie Miller. Hi. Yeah. So like that sense of support that she's doing for people in that chronic pain illness world, or the support that I am giving to men who want to explore movement and have the courage to step into the scary world of Pilates, which is filled with skinny women and dancers sometimes, and
And
that's all we
Pilates is
see.
hard.
And Pilates is hard. That's the other
And
thing too.
Pilates is,
By the time
I
you get
did
into
it,
the,
and it's not, I don't, I'm not gonna say I don't like it, but it's
you can
not
say
my
you don't like it.
favorite.
No, no, you can say you don't like it. That's fine. You won't hurt my feelings. Like you can.
I don't like
It's
to say I don't like something because that's
mm,
like a hard definite. I'm like,
yeah.
no, I'll keep being open, but I'm gonna say it's not, it's really hard. It's not my
That's
favorite.
funny. My wife has this saying she had with her kids when they're growing up. She said, "You have to take a no thank you bite."
Yeah,
So if you don't like your food, it's like, well, you still have to take one bite before you say no thank you, right? So it's
yeah,
like Pilates, like take your no thank you bite, like try it, see if it works for you. Maybe try it with a different teacher, maybe try it with something
yeah.
else, because I think it's a game changer for a lot of people, right? Like it really
It's
does.
definitely a workout. I definitely sweat. I look disgusting after, I will say.
Nice. Gotta look ugly after your Pilates. Gotta
That's the only way you do it.
undignified. There's who Authentic Pilates Center is in Halifax. There's two Pilates people I've spoken
Yeah.
to. And yeah, so there's, and I think Kara Hazelton is bringing another studio back to. She's in New Brunswick, and then
Oh,
she's opening a studio in Halifax, so that's coming up too. So
oh, super cool.
yeah,
Maybe we'll
yeah.
get to meet her.
Oh, absolutely. She's so cool, and
That's
just
awesome.
yeah. So um, yeah. So and Amanda's handles there. That's gonna be at 1:30 today. So yeah, I'd love to have you connect with her. I want to like just introduce you to all my people. I think you're doing great work, and I think that
Thank you. Thank you.
someone
I
like
appreciate that.
Reach Pilates doing her thing, or Kara and others would be it'd be fun to support.
And that's actually something that we also want to do here in Halifax. We've already started. We have a class with Spinco
Okay.
where we gave away 15 spots to do a class just for people to try it out and businesses to try it out.
Hmm.
And then we're having another one with Queensbury Boxing. So then we're
Yep.
doing a boxing class. And what we'd love to do is have a fitness with fem entity. So
Okay.
memberships can try different places that we have partnered with around Halifax or preferably across Canada
Yes.
that you can go try a class for free. If you like it, great. If it's not your style, that's okay. Try something else because especially with fitness, you could get fit in so many ways,
Hmm.
but it really depends on what you like. Like I learned I hate cardio, but I really like walking the incline.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm kind of changing to do. Or like I love doing, well, what's this? What's it called? Hit workouts.
Yes.
That.
Yep.
So I like doing hit workouts, but only like 10 minutes and then more weights.
Yes.
So
Gotcha.
I'm finding my own kind of fitness, and I know a lot of people, that's just like a first start of just finding out what works for you and what you enjoy. Because if you enjoy it, you're going to make it into a habit.
Absolutely. So two things with that. One is I love the fact that when we talk about any kind of empowerment or self-worth or self-care thing, that it's almost impossible to have that conversation without getting into movement. Like
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like it's not just a mindset shift. It's like go walk, meditate, move,
Yeah.
yoga, stretch, Pilates, run. Some like movement comes into the conversation without forcing the envelope. Like people just they just have to move.
Yeah.
And so to that point, I actually changed the title on my business card. Like I used to say like sport conditioning specialist or personal trainer and then Pilates.
Right.
And I changed all that. I just put the word movement specialist.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Right?
as well, one thing that I learned, ancient technique says our bodies are made to move, our minds are made to think, but as one, we are human and we have a purpose. So that all summarizes what we've been talking and essentially saying when we take care of one and we take care of another, as one, we have the full human integrity to have our purpose. So
Yes.
with doing both at the same time, we're to get this really technical, we're enhancing our vibration to do
Yep.
better.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Love that. Um, and so I was going to say something and I didn't want to interrupt you on that thought. Now I lost what I was going to say, but that's good. What you said
Oh,
was good.
thank you.
That's like totally a soundbite. So just remember with that. Um, I'm just seeing a few new people just join us in the chat here, and welcome to Scoop Pilates and Kai. I wish Kai
Lots of
was.
Pilates. Now I'm gonna have to get back and try Pilates again. Maybe it was just my teacher.
Yeah,
Because I'm seeing these and I'm like, these are cool people. I should definitely
you should
try it again.
definitely. And actually, I opened with this at the beginning. If any of you have like any online classes or workshops, like just put it in the chat now, just so we can see and other people know, like,
Mm,
what you have coming up. I know that there's people that are in the Pilates space that are very intentional with a lot of what you're talking about too. So that intersection for them is taking Pilates to, a trauma-informed approach or like a self-care or like women's health or men's health. So they're coming from the movement side to the mental health side,
yes,
whereas you're coming from one to the other. So like there is obviously that intersection.
there's so much interchange.
Yep. Yes. And a new business card says enhancing your vibrational energy through movement guidance.
There we go.
Boom.
Your winning pitch, the only thing you need.
There you go. So good. So okay, so then just as we close out here, what's next for you? Where can we find out what's happening? How can we cheer you on?
Um, a like or a follow and a share goes such a long way.
Hmm.
I always open with that because it's just like it's true. And also the algorithm is just the way it is. But for the next steps for us, we are planning our best to get our website up and running, knock on wood, by April, if not wintertime, because, timing.
Yes.
Um, and right now we're just keep trying to connecting with our businesses, keep trying to build more relationships in the community and across Canada. So happily for anyone to fill out the form on Fementity on our Instagram, in our link tree, you just go, you click directory form. And also if you want to learn more about either the directory or our memberships, we have different brochures available in that link as well. And we have a couple events that are already lined up and started. So we're going to be posting, kind of trying to get more people aware that we have this resource hub available. And next thing for me really is I have a bunch of courses I have to record, so you can all enjoy them.
Nice. Very cool. Yes. I'm loving this conversation too, Custom Course. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you.
You're doing awesome work. I'm so excited to see where this goes, like
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, like how fun would it be to work yourself out of a job with this?
That would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know. I love what I do right now.
Hmm.
So I'm actually really happy doing both. But
Yes.
if Fementity is something that's calling me to put more attention to it, then I will gladly take the leap.
Yes. And actually, I mean, if I could just share a quick story with you on that same
Yeah.
thing, it's 2002, the year that
Oh,
I registered Personal Victory as a business. So I'm
wow.
actually celebrating 20
20
years,
years ago.
20 years
Wow.
ago this year. Yeah.
That's
And
amazing. Congrats.
thank you. I'm just kind of been reflecting on that in the last little while because I was in social work before, right? So I was working with youth at risk and a whole kind of, community stuff. And then decided that, I wanted to do some stuff with fitness because I was having like these great conversations with kids, like better
Right.
conversations over the bench press than like in the counseling setting. So I'm like,
Definitely.
yeah, why not? Like, I'll just do it. And like, if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to social work. That was 20
Yeah.
years ago.
We're not going back anytime soon.
Not going back, right? So, and that's the thing. So I legit worked myself out of a job into this fitness thing. And it just occurred to me, I've been doing it that long now and just loving it. So yeah, you could
Wow.
totally do the same thing of being like, I went to school for social work and I'm a personal trainer. So like, it's funny how like there was a while when talking about like your self-worth and your confidence where I'd be in a room and people would be like, well, what degree did you do, right? Or like even being a manager and I'm hiring someone who has like a master's in biomechanics or they have like their and I'm like social work like,
That's
like yeah, so unapologetically I say it now, but like that's just where it takes you, right? So
yeah. Yeah, I definitely shifted my thinking in who I am. Before I was such a career driven individual, and I still am, but now I'm definitely giving myself the space to have emotions and have those feelings and be okay with them. And if something changes, that's okay too. I'm definitely making myself a little bit more, I don't want to say, I want to be lenient more with myself
yes.
in my possibilities. Yeah.
Right. I would say agile. That's like Martin speak, right? Like,
There we go.
yes. Yes. Chronic pain mystery. I think that is one of Amanda's people who I will be on the show later. Very cool. Nice. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. I really
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having me.
And yeah, I'm definitely cheering you on. I'll get myself on your registry. And if I could teach any classes and support your people, like I'm more
Yes.
than happy to do that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
love
This
that.
seems like such an opportunity. And also, anyone that's listening, and if you want to be part of it, I am so happy to have you on. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who joined us today as well. So we have more fun guests all week. So yeah, just keep tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Take care and have a great day.